So today I would like to have a look at this book here. This book is all about bookstores. Okay, let's see. Here, Bookstores. This is by, and I'm hoping I won't do a horrible job with all of the pronunciation in this book. This is by Horst A. Friedrichs and Stuart Husband. Okay, so it's all about showcasing different bookstores. Okay, so I'm not sure what this one is on the cover. It's very pretty. So ceilings here, very high ceilings. Okay, so inside we see this pretty floral cover page. See, this is a celebration of independent booksellers. It's the contents, all of the different stores that are included. Okay, just an image of a girl reading a book. And this is an introduction, I guess. Paper towns. I'm not going to read everything word for word. Over here talks about, let's see, books are more than just cultural artifacts. They are manifestations of who we are. They are proof that we exist, and they make a commitment to remembering that we have lived once we are gone. This pretty picture here with all the books. Lots and lots of books. This is Shakespeare and Company in Paris. Shelves and shelves of books. Here's a guy up at the top laying down and reading. This one here is a very long name, hard to pronounce correctly for me. Anzenberger Gallery in Vienna. We've got just the one shelf here. This bookcase, little table. Okay, sort of clean looking. Lots and lots of books. This is John Sandow Books in London. Lots of shelves of books. Okay, so there is some information. It's not just all photographs. This one takes a look at the Strand, and this is in New York City. And this bookstore opened in 1927. By Nancy Bass Wyden. If our name is synonymous with that of New York City, I think that being in business for almost a century has something to do with it. It's always been my family's mission to put good books in the hands of readers. My grandfather started the Strand in the 1920s with $600 and his own book collection. He slept on a cot in the basement when times got really tough. He bought the 11-story building we're in now to safeguard the business. It's just been given city landmark status, which I'm appealing against. It drives up the costs of everything, which we don't need, but I'm happy to regard the Strand as a landmark in its own right. There's a lot more all about this store. There's a photo of it from the street. Strand Bookstore. Okay. More pictures. This little cabinet here. The old Remington Standard Typewriter, number 10. Look at these old encyclopedias here. And then here we have Spoonbill and Sugartown. Let's see, this is in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, opened in 1999. This is by Jonas Kyle. Let's see. We're not as mainstream or run-of-the-mill as other stores. A lot of them are straight, like the majority of people who live in New York City today. You don't have the freaks and the weirdos and quasi-bohemians, or poor starving artists, or the substratum of people outside of society anymore. Money swept in and drenched everything in sameness. So we present a little bit differently, which is maybe why people come in every day and say it's the best store they've ever seen. We'll have rare first editions and interesting art monographs or academic treatises, like a photo book documenting in place of women in post-punk culture, and we'll stick with books that other people wouldn't even dream of ordering, like Wabi Sabi by Leonard Cohen about the Japanese art of finding happiness, which has sold briskly here for 15 years. Okay, a photo of him, I guess, Jonas Kyle. Spoonbill and Sugartown in Brooklyn. Okay. And there's a picture of it from the streets. Tim Halliday, The Book of Frogs. This is a staff pick. A life-size guide to 600 species from around the world. It's cute. Here we have Dashwood Books. Dashwood Books is in New York City. There's a picture of the window, I guess. Dashwood Books. And this one opened in 2005. It says around 95% of our stock is photography titles, from rare vintage finds to exciting new books from little publishers all over the world. People told me I was insane to open this place, but I was convinced I could make it work. There wasn't a place like it in New York, and never really had been. I'd previously worked for Magnum, the photo agency, in their New York office, which was great, but because it's a cooperative, I had about 40 bosses, some of them quite grumpy. After leaving, I thought, I just want to do something on my own with a very small piece of real estate where I call the shots. Okay, we saw lots of photography titles. Cool. Here's some of the things you might find. It's pretty cool. Dashwood books. More here. Here we have Rizzoli, New York City. There's a little step stool there. This one opened in 2015. It says, we had a store on 57th Street for over 30 years, but the building was demolished and it closed in 2014. At the time, many independent bookstores were closing in Manhattan. High rents, Amazon, a perfect storm. But we wanted to keep faith with the city, and with Angelo Rizzoli's original mission, which was to provide beautiful books for an international audience. So we found the perfect space in Nomad, 5,000 square feet, 18-foot ceilings, 3 separate rooms, and a skylight. When I first saw it, I thought it was a place where culture could be brought to life. We'd saved the furniture and chandeliers from the old store, and we got Fornasetti to design the wallpapers, which is an elegant connection with our Italian roots. So it sets off the luxury books perfectly. Okay. Photos of the layout, the chandeliers. Books are magic. Okay, this is in Cobble Hill, Brooklyn. Here's a look at it from the street on the corner. Need to read. Open every day. Okay, books are magic. And this one opened in 2017. It says, I'm an author who runs a bookstore. There are more of us than you'd think. Ann Patchett has Parnassus Books in Nashville, and Louise Erdrich owns Birch Bark in Minneapolis. And if you think about it, there's no better grounding for doing this, as we've all seen hundreds of stores on our book tours, and we've got a pretty good idea of what works and what doesn't. Okay, these pictures here. There's the sign on the front. This pile of books here. Here we have City Lights Bookstore, and this one is in San Francisco, and it opened in 1953. Paul Yamazaki here. So what do we have here? When Lawrence Ferlinghetti founded this place, it became the epicenter of mid-century counterculture. He'd seen a lot of carnage while serving during World War II. He'd been at Normandy during the D-Day landings, and he'd wanted to create a community of curiosity where people from diverse backgrounds could create their own system of values rather than the received values that had led to the world going up in flames. He was a poet, author, and translator, and he's still with us. We celebrated his 100th birthday in 2019. And he thought of literature and art as a larger river of resistance. It's a picture from the street, City Lights Bookstore, San Francisco. Books Not Bombs. Open 10 a.m. to midnight every day. I wonder if that's still true. I'm not sure when this book came out. Okay. Poetry room. Very nice. Nice display there. Learn to read. And this is the poet's chair. His little rocking chair. Okay, here we have Green Apple Books. This is also in San Francisco, and it opened in 1967. Okay, here's a picture from the street. It says, "The thing that marks us out, I honestly think that it's the physical beauty of the store. This is a pre-1906 earthquake building, and the space has expanded piecemeal over the years to the point where it's quite labyrinth. We have many odd turns and dead ends, about 10 different flooring surfaces, and quite arcane section headings like circus magic and hobo. And you'll find things randomly stuck on the wall a decade ago that have just hung around, like someone designating the place we're sitting in, the Granny Smith room." That's beautiful, like the little font there and the way they've sectioned off things. Chinese art, Japanese art, American art, painting, drawing. Okay, very nice. Not sure I'll get through this entire book. Philosophy. Okay, looks like everything's handwritten. Here we have William Stout Books, and this is also in San Francisco. Opened in 1974. Okay, it's a pretty window here. So he says, "I'm an architect who's built up a library of architecture, design, and art titles. We have around 70,000 titles all together. I would bring back rare and interesting titles on my trips to Europe, And I started the store in my apartment in 1974, which I opened up from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Here we have dog-eared books, also in San Francisco, opened in 1992. She says, I've been running bookstores since 1985. I've had 5 stores in 8 locations across the city. I'd been to college for about a year and realized it wasn't for me. Then I had a series of terrible jobs. Then I got a job in a used bookstore and thought, this is it. All of it spoke to me, being surrounded by books, handling books, looking through them, and finding things people had hidden, keepsakes, photographs no one should see, social security checks, and money. My lifetime total for money that I found in books so far, $105. Dog-eared books. There's the storefront. Here's Baldwin's Book Barn, and this is in Westchester, Pennsylvania, opened in 1946. I was just there the other day. Not at this bookstore, but in Westchester. So let's see. This was a dairy barn built in 1822. Mr. Baldwin, who just died recently, had run a book business since the early 1930s. He had a book wagon and would roll from town to town. And he bought the place and added 3 extra floors to accommodate his growing inventory. You'll find a lot of vintage fruit crates that we use for shelving. It's definitely got an old world charm, though we tend to huddle round the stove in winter. Look at that. There's the stove, I guess. It's very nice. Probably has very creaky floors. Look at this here. This looks nice. Little cozy room there. And here we have Maggs Brothers. This is in London, and it opens in 1853. Okay, so Maggs Brothers. We're one of the longest established antiquarian booksellers in the world. We've handled some very old and very rare things. 2 Gutenberg Bibles, Caxton's Chaucer, the first book printed in England, as well as the odd curiosity, such as Napoleon Bonaparte's penis. We're currently in a Georgian building on a salubrious Bloomsbury Square, an area thick with bookish history. The front door is open, but it doesn't look much like a shop. Okay. Let's see these here. The building. Look at these books and these paper here. Look at the pages. Look at all of these beautiful books here on display. Very pretty. Here we have Haywood Hill, London, opened in 1936. Okay. A picture from the streets. These little page holders here with the hands. It's very cute. Okay. This looks very nice. This wrapping here that they're doing, I'm not sure what that is. Is it for deliveries or things? Very nice. See all these packaged books. You tie the bow around. Here we have John Sando Books, and this is in London as well. Opened in 1957. Okay, so he says, the romantic idea of the bookshop involves enchantment and intoxication. I love seeing young people gaze around in wonder as they stumble into John Sando and exclaim, it's just like a bookshop in a film. But there's something else, an attitude of mind, a reflection of curiosity, a desire for discovery. People who read books have inquiring minds. They don't just want to get what they already know about. They want to see what else you've got. Okay. It's a pretty display. Pretty display here. And here we have Hurlingham Books, London, opened in 1968. Okay. Picture from the street. Lots and lots of stacks of books there. Very nice. Okay. Gaze the Word. This is in London, 1979. Here's a picture of the front. The first time I came to the store, I was an out-of-work actor from a small town in Ireland. And I was too nervous to go in. I ended up walking round the block until I screwed up enough courage to cross the threshold. So it says we're still the only dedicated LGBTQI bookstore in England. We've always been visible, both literally and figuratively. The name is emblazoned outside, and you can see straight in. It's never been about hiding away. And while that means we faced a raid by customs in 1984, when they deemed certain of our titles obscene, and even now we occasionally get bricks thrown at the window. Okay. And we have Daunt Books in London, opened in 1980. It says this is the oldest purpose-built bookshop still in use in the UK. It dates from 1910. It was derelict when our founder, James Daunt, came across it, all dust and rubble, about to have its interior ripped out and be turned into a restaurant. It's still not listed, which is shocking. It's like an Edwardian gallery, and the stained glass window is really special. Okay, very pretty long aisles here. And I guess this is the window in the back that we can't really see. Very nice. And here we have Persephone Books, again in London. Opens in 2001. It says, we republish overlooked or forgotten books by women writers from the 1920s to the 1950s under our own imprint. I've always had this huge interest in early 20th century fiction by women, what academics would call middlebrow, and I would call a good read. We started in a basement, but then we got a bestseller, Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, a 1938 novel by Winifred Watson. So we were able to open the shop. I say a silent thank you to her every day. Why Persephone? She symbolizes creativity as the goddess of springtime. It says clever clogs people come in and say, well, she was violated by Zeus. We say, yes, we know, with great forbearance. It's a pretty picture there. Okay, so they all have this sort of same cover, I guess, because they reprint them all themselves. Another in London opened in 2000, Tate Modern Shop. He says, I was obsessed with music as a teenager. I started working in a record shop in the northeast of England and began working out how to introduce people to things they may not have realized they wanted. It was all about sharing ideas and discovering things and passing them on. And there's a great deal of joy in that. When I went on to work in bookshops, I saw it as the same thing, giving people access to the tools they needed, the inspirational ideas, to turn them from spectators into creators, which will ultimately mean that there are even more good books to read and better art to look at. Ideally, it's a kind of virtuous circle. Okay. It's a little different style there. Pretty stairwell. Oh, that's pretty. Got this little well or fountain here. So this is, there's still so much more to look at in this book. I don't think I'll be able to get all the way through. So let's see, I might just start naming the rest. London Review. Bookshop opens in 2003. This is Lutyens and Rubinstein. London opened in 2009. Word on the Water, London, opened in 2011. It's beautiful. Mendo, this is in Amsterdam, opens in 2002. Here we have, let's see if I pronounce this right, Boekhandel Dominikanen. I know I said that wrong. I don't even know where this is. Maastricht opened in 2006. I don't know where this is. This is the one on the cover. Very pretty. So sorry to have mispronounced anything. I think it was a church. Bouquinistes, the Seine, Paris, opened in 1859. Bouquiniste. Librairie Auguste Blaizot, Paris, opened in 1910. pretty. Shakespeare and Company, Paris, opened in 1951. Buchhandlung Walter Koenig. This is in Cologne, opened 1969. It's very hard for me to say. Buchsicle. This is in Dusseldorf, opened in 2013. This one is in Heidelberg, opened in 2013. Art Liberalis. Here we have Felix, now I would say Judd, but I have a feeling that's not how you say it. Hamburg, opened in 1923. Pretty books. Look at this one here. I like that. Stories! Exclamation point. Also in Hamburg, opened in 2008. Interesting way to display the books. Butcherbogen. So sorry, I should just give up. This is in Berlin, opened in 1990. I should look up how to pronounce these things before I start filming. It's a beautiful ceiling there. Beautiful picture. Oh goodness. Pro QM Berlin, opened in 1999. Pretty pink letters. It says, "Do you read me?" Exclamation point. Berlin, opened in 2009. Sign out front. Build Band, Berlin, opened in 2014. They have the book of the week. Soda, Munich, opened in 2004. Very nice and neat shelves. Oh, that's cute. Oh, shopping cart. Art and design books and magazines. Literatur Moths. Munich, opened in 1994. Very pretty display. feel. Vienna, opened in 2004. Lots of different lights there, very pretty. Hartlieb's Butcher, Vienna, opened in 2004. Boucher, I don't know how to say that. Anzenberger Gallery, Vienna, opened in 2011. Very pretty here. Nice, interesting display. Anna Geller, Buchhandlung, Vienna, opens in 1985. Stacks and stacks of books. Buchhandlung Bernhard Riedel, Vienna, opened in 1999. I hope they can forgive me for all my horrible pronunciation. So sorry. It's neatly stacked books there. Metamorphose, Vienna, opened in 2018. A little more modern looking. Okay, this is Livraria Verin. This is in Lisbon, opened in 1840. It's pretty. Okay. It's pretty arches here. That's another shot there. These beautiful clocks here. That looks very pretty. I love that design. Okay. Some more. $150 years. And here we have Almedina Rato, also in Lisbon, opened in 2017. Pretty doors like that. This is a very special place. It is the former workshop of the stained glass and mosaic artist Ricardo Leone, which closed in the 1970s, and the idea was to restore, preserve, and return to the 21st century as much of the character of that space as possible. Hence, the books are displayed in old glass manufacturing tables and drawing boards. Very pretty. Look at this design above the door. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Nice. The brick. Different wood. that is up there. It looks like paint cans, but I don't know what that is. Okay. Very pretty. Love that. Love these cases here. The little lighting in there. Very pretty. Look at this one. Livraria Lello. Porto, opened 1906. Lello was always intended to be a temple to culture in general and reading in particular. Look at this beautiful stairwell here. Let's see. The founders, Jose and Antonio Lello, wanted to create a building that would stand out in the city and the world. So the engineer, Francisco Xavier Estevez, created this neo-Gothic building with its stained glass skylight, ornate wood carvings, forked spiral staircase, bas reliefs of Portuguese literary figures, and carved into the pillars, and allegorical figures of art and science on its facade. Ooh. Look at this. It's amazing. And here we have Livraria Academica. This is in Porto, opened 1912. Look at these pretty books on display. It says, I came to Porto in 1948 when I was 13, trying to find a job and the means to survive during those harsh post-war years. I saw an ad from Livraria Academica in the paper, and Mr. Guedes da Silva, the founder, took me into his trust and taught me everything I know. To this day, I have no idea why he picked me. I've lived surrounded by thousands of books for over 70 years now. The trade of an antique, rare bookshop is quite specific and also magical, whimsical at the same time. Look at this beautiful blue. Oh, that's nice. They've got the books just kind of very nice. And I guess that is it. So that's everything. Alright. Well, I enjoy looking at all of these bookstores. Would love to go be able to visit some of them. I hope that you enjoyed taking a look at these, and thank you so much for watching.